So to form a franchise, or to make that franchise legal, you must have a franchise disclosure document that you file always with the federal government and usually with your state government as well. The franchise disclosure document is always filed not by the franchisee, but by the franchisor. So what has to go into this franchise disclosure document? Well, there are 23 separate parts, not counting the cover page and the table of contents. Item 1 has to be the disclosure of who the franchisor is, who's the company, who's the parent company, who are the predecessors, who are the affiliates. Item 2 has to disclose the business experience of the franchise owner. Item 3 has to disclose any litigation history, whether that litigation is something that the franchise company brought or that was brought against the franchise company. Item 4, speaking of litigation, has to disclose any bankruptcies that the franchise company has gone through. Item 5 has to disclose the initial fees for the franchise. What does the franchisee have to pay in order to have the right to use this franchise? Item 6 has to disclose other fees. All fees must be disclosed. Item 7 discloses the estimated initial investment. That would be the initial franchise fee plus any expenses that the franchisee has to engage in, such as real estate, purchasing of marketing collateral, purchasing of equipment, purchasing of trade dress. Item 8 discloses restrictions on the sources of products and services. If the franchisee must purchase from the franchisor has to tell them that. Item 9 discloses the franchisee's obligations. What does the franchisee have to do to maintain this franchise? How often does they have to pay royalties? How much royalty do they have to pay? Are they responsible for contributions to marketing, for developing marketing? Are they responsible for paying their own rent? What do they have to do? Item 10 is the financing. Does the franchisor offer financing for the franchisee? Or does the franchisor have available financing through a third party? Item 11 must disclose what the franchisor will do, what assistance is available, what advertising and training is part of this franchise deal. Item 12 discloses the territory that the franchisee will cover. Item 13 discloses the trademarks and the intellectual property that is such an important part of any franchise, since a franchise is basically a trademark and a system. Item 14 talks about other intellectual property, patents, trademarks, proprietary information that's associated with a franchisor. Item 15 talks about the franchisee's obligation to participate in the actual operation of the franchise business. Does the franchisee have to be there to oversee the day-to-day operations, or can they just be the money bags? Item 16 talks about the restrictions on what the franchisee may sell. Can the franchisee sell things that are outside of the franchise within the franchised trade-dressed area? Item 17 talks about the renewal and the termination and the transfer and the dispute resolution provisions of the contract. Item 18 discloses any public figures who are associated with this franchise. Item 19 talks about the financial performance representations of the proposed franchise. Item 20 talks about outlets and franchisee information, things like where can you open this thing. Item 21 gives the franchisors financial statements. Item 22 is the franchise agreement and any other contracts that are associated between the franchisor and the franchisee, which, by the way, the franchisee may not sign for at least 7 days after the franchisor sends the franchise disclosure document. After item 22 come the exhibits, which is item 23.